Well, never one to get the same repair twice, it seems. We have this beastie on the bench this time. So I'm told that this basically just does not power up. So obviously that could be 100 different things. So we'll see how we go with this. Okay, so here we have the amplifier unit out of its casing. And I can tell you that the main fuse has gone and one bank of tubes, the protection fuse on that has gone. But looking over here, it's pretty obvious to me that this tube is definitely gone, which you would associate with the fuse that's gone. So we're going to take those out. Take the M1s out and replace the fuses and just see if it powers up using my current limiter, and just make sure we're on the right track. Okay, so just to show you here, we've taken those two tubes out, which were the main suspects, and as you can see here, you can see the way these are glowing. All of the tubes are glowing. And we have, I'll just show you over the back here, I don't know if you can see that actually, yep, so the power light there, it seems to be powering up absolutely fine now, and nothing's blowing. So I think I'm going to strip the rest down and have an inspect inside, because I think while we've got it here, we should have a good look around it really, just to make sure. I think all the socket pins there, I'm going to give them a bit of a clean out to make sure they're making good contact. I'm also going to clean the top plate here, which is quite gungy. Not looking too rusty on those top on the transformers there. And then basically I'm going to, if that all powers up and I connect it up to a speaker and it sounds okay, I'm going to speak to the customer and see if, really, to be honest, I would retube the lot, because to be honest, I think some of these other tubes look like they're not a million miles behind. I think that white residue is a little bit of a giveaway really, so that would be what I would do, but that's obviously up to them really. So we have some, we're giving the top of this a little bit of a clean up best we can, and we have new tubes in there to replace the faulty ones, and we're going to get this thing warmed up. And first thing we need to do is to measure the plate voltage, so we can set about sorting the bias current for this. Hi, so I unfortunately didn't video the biasing job on this, so but I thought I'd talk through a couple of things in case it's something you might like to do. So the first thing really with this is you're basically going to need to do a little calculation. So the first thing would be to make sure this thing has been warmed up at first. It can be warmed up on standby mode, and then basically the first thing would be to measure the plate voltage. Now this is a very high voltage, so this is something you really need to be sure about. And to do that, I basically had to tilt this unit on the side so I could access underneath. There's no cover underneath this, and I clipped on the ground connection, so I only needed to probe with a single hand in there to measure the voltage, which is nigh on 500 volts, just so you know what you're dealing with. Okay, so and then from that you can start to make your calculations. So now on the end tube there, so I could measure what I needed next, which is the biasing current. I've got this little tool here I'll just dangle this in front of you. This here is basically a little socket that fits, which I put there in the end tube socket, and that allows you to measure the biasing current. And we're in the just with a multimeter, and we're in the milliamp range. So you can put it, if you're not auto ranging, you'll be in the 200 milliamp range, and you're probably going to get something around 30 milliamps. Now, to fine tweak that though, you need to do a little calculation to set it to the optimum level. Now, some guitarists actually like to set it up a particular way, driving these things slightly harder. Obviously that will shorten their life if you do that, but obviously some of these things are down to particular preferences a little bit. But if you're gonna repair something like this, and setting it up or retubing it, then you need to go for what is basically the optimal setting. So I'll put a little note in the description which shows you the calculation you need for that, and then basically following that, I hooked this thing up to a little speaker. Unfortunately, I haven't got a full guitar cab, rather small speaker, unfortunately, so I couldn't really sort of really give it some welly, but just to make sure that there is a reasonable output coming out of this thing. But it's proved the point anyway. Basically a blown tube was causing the fuses to go, which is probably basically showing as it would have been showing as a short circuit. So obviously to protect it, the fuses blew. Now I've actually said to the customer that really in the long term, if I was him, I would retube the whole lot, which many ways that's pretty straightforward, but I strongly suspect that some of the other tubes are pretty aged, so I don't know if they're the originals, but that's what I would do anyway. So basically we're just it's all good to go anyway. Relatively straightforward. I did check over the PCB inside. If I didn't mention it before, it was all quite clean in there and no obvious issues, so I think we're good to go really. So just basically pop it back in the box, screw it together, and see how they get on with it really. Thanks for watching.